Okay, here we are, Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here at the Southern District of New York Courthouse. We're covering all the cases, but the Sean Puffy Combs Diddy docket has exploded. First of all, the appeal of his detention in the MDC will be heard in the Second Circuit on November 4th. We will live tweet it, we reported it yesterday. But the civil cases is what took up a lot of time because there were 6 cases filed on Monday, Indigenous People / Columbus Day, by the Busby firm in Houston, Texas. From Houston, Texas, with a local firm. And they all went to different judges, and they all got different results. In fact, one of the cases was dismissed. Judge Reardon dismissed the case for having been filed with a Doe pseudonym. And they've refiled it now as a miscellaneous case, but I guess it'll get wheeled out to another judge. So I was thinking it would be kind of a good strategy to, like, in any event, I don't know if they planned it that way, but it was a sort of a litmus test of how judges deal with it. But it looks like all 5 are on track, and the 6th one will get back on track after it goes through this miscellaneous situation. As to the merits, we'll just have to see of those cases. Meanwhile, on the crypto front, Nishad Singh, another of the FTX cooperators, after Carolyn Ellison got 2 years for her extraordinary cooperation, Singh is saying he was less involved and he was just as extraordinary, so he should get time served. I don't know if he's going to get that. But we'll be covering it when it takes place. Meanwhile, a lengthy sentence was doled out in the Bronx fentanyl daycare case yesterday. 45 years. Judge Rakoff, 45 years. Meanwhile, Gray Mendez, one of the defendants, a woman in the case, he's urged the government to proffer with her to take her out from the 20-year mandatory minimum for causing death, distribution of conspiracy, drugs, causing death. I don't know what's come of that, but we're going to keep covering that. It seems he's a judge that gets involved and was basically highly critical of the government, of the prosecution going after Gray Mendez, and said he might call up Damian Williams himself. Whether that will go into the docket, we just don't know. There's a trial that we're covering called Larmore. He's a guy, Larmore. He's a guy that he stands accused of manipulating the stock of WeWork, of course, which itself failed. Fraud about a fraud, with a press release. But it has some interesting stuff, including a witness that somehow was accused of driving his kid drunk, and then they said it wasn't so, and the judge said, I don't want to hear it. So we'll see whether we do hear it. We might be live tweeting some of that today. It's a trial here at the SDNY. Now, of course, the Eric Adams, I don't want to say there's a hiatus, but we're waiting for the next indictment or superseder to come. Same thing on the Trump. We're waiting for the redactions. So what we rarely do this, but there's a story in one of the 2 remaining New York tabloids, the more accessible, non-paywall of the 2, had a story saying that Adams' strategy may involve hoping for Trump to win, or that if Trump were to win, Merrick Garland would be out and the case against Eric Adams might be dropped or narrowed. I don't know if it's true, but one could imagine it's Adams' theory that because he was raised questions about the Biden administration's handling of migration, that's why he's being indicted. So anyway, they have a source, they said, with direct knowledge of his legal strategy. Could the initials be AS of that source? And I don't mean Judge Submarine. In any event, meanwhile, no jail time at all, finally, for this report. Girgis, a man initially charged with being a spy for Egypt, was given a misdemeanor plea and got no jail time at all. At least he went through the process. At the UN is full of, not just spies, full of bribes and corruption and misuse of legal immunity, and nothing happens. But we remain on the case. Inner City Press put in more questions yesterday, and we're going to do it again today about the ITU, about UNIDO. We have scoops on all of these. You can find them on Inner City Press. But for now, we're going into the SDNY. To be continued.